Everything is a relationship. Let me explain. Hello everybody and welcome back to Artist Mindset. I'm your host Martina. If you don't know me, if you're new here, welcome. It's really nice to see you. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Thank you for following me along and coming to these episodes. And I'm very excited for this episode actually, because I think this episode is not only for artists, but it might be relatable for anybody, because I had this realization actually a long time ago, and now it sort of came back, which is that I really have this feeling that everything is about relationships. Like everything is a relationship. Let me explain. So, I think we all been in romantic relationships, or we have, parents or siblings or friends. So you kind of know what is the notion of this ships, right? But partnership is also one of these ships, right? So I've realized that actually everything you do is like a relationship, and it doesn't matter if it's an artistic opportunity, if it's a project you're working on, if it's your romantic relationship, it all sort of boils down to what you want from these relationships, right? And I've wrote a couple notes to help me stay guided on today's episode. Decentralize your life, because everything is like a relationship, and it's like ping pong. Let's use this analogy of the game of ping pong. If there is just ping, but there is no pong, you abort, you leave, because there is nothing wrong with being the first one. There is nothing wrong with being the one that shoots the ball first and waits for the other person to respond to shoot the ball back, right? There is nothing wrong with being the one that does ping and then expect pong. But it's called ping pong. It's not called ping ping or pong pong, because that's not how it works, right? So if there is ping, there should be pong as well. And if there is only ping and there is no pong, then you leave. And of course this applies to relationships, but relationship, same as friendship, partnership, and any kind of other ship that you want to sail on. This can be applied to anything. It can be applied to your work or to your project or anything that you're doing in life, not just your romantic relationships, because I truly believe everything is a relationship in your life. Whatever you do, you have a relationship to that thing or that situation or your career or your friends, family, whatever it is. So really this can be applied to anything. Because if you reach out and there is no reaction back, or there is a rejection back, then you leave, right? Because if you don't, where is your self-respect, frankly? Where is your self-respect? You don't need to wait for everybody else to give you a chance. You go and you give yourself a chance. And if it doesn't work out, then you move on. It's as simple as that. Because you want to give yourself what you want, right? So would you stop just because of one rejection? Or just because of one obstacle, or because something didn't work out, or because, you started the game, you did ping, and nobody did pong back, wouldn't you just go and find another person to play the game with? Probably you would, right? So why would you waste your time trying to shoot more balls at a person that clearly doesn't want to shoot it back? You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't. And I think the same is like your energy. You have limited amount of energy. Imagine like in the game, you have limited amount of those balls that you can shoot. So would you waste them on a person that doesn't shoot them back, or would you try with another person? It's very simple, right? It's very simple. And the right people and the right opportunities cannot mistreat you. They really can't. And I really believe what is not meant for you will disappoint you in 1,000 times. What is not meant for you will disappoint you 1,000 times over until you give up. That's just how the universe works. I'm sorry to say, but I really believe that's just how the universe works. It doesn't just remove things or people or situations from your life. If something's not meant for you, the universe will make sure that it drains you of so much energy that you cannot ignore it, so that you remove it yourself. It's like a wound that will never heal until you remove the bandage to let it breathe. But you have to remove that bandage. So why would you waste your energy on something that clearly isn't for you, or that simply just, doesn't react back? Just move on. You have your life. You can give yourself what you want. Why would you wait for somebody else to give it to you? Why would you try to throw those balls because you're hoping that somebody else will give you what you want? No. You want to be a woman that has balance in her life? Go become that person that cannot allow things or people to disrupt her peace. It's just simple. It's like the sun, Do you think the sun asks itself, oh, am I good enough? Or am I don't know, is the moon gonna give me what I want? Or do the planet asks, oh my god, am I good enough? Or do I fit in this solar constellation? No. Each planet is on its own trajectory in the space, minding its own business, because it knows that it has everything that it needs, and it has its time to shine. The same with the moon and the sun, right? The moon and the sun, they don't fight, right? Because they both know, okay, now is the time for the moon to shine, so the sun is down, and the sun is patiently waiting for its turn, because it knows that, okay, the moon will go down eventually, and it will be my turn to shine as well. So why would you worry about other people or compare yourself to other people when maybe it's just not your time to shine yet? But the time will come. The time will come, and you can really have everything you want. Maybe not all at once. Maybe that's not how the world works. But you can give yourself everything you want. You truly can. So go and give yourself everything you want, because you truly can. You can give yourself everything you want, but you have to understand where are your boundaries and respect that. And remember your value, because you know your value. People probably know it too, but they will test you on it. And there is nothing wrong with having standards. Like, I often thought in my life that, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so stuck on wanting to be so financially stable, because I always wanted to be an artist, and there is this stereotype of starving artist. But there is nothing wrong with having standards and knowing what you want and going for that and giving it to yourself, because it's your life. It's your life. And you can give yourself what you want. But then you have to stop asking yourself what other people think, or how other people might give it to you. No, you give it to yourself. And having standards, there is nothing wrong with that. And having standards will offend people who don't meet them, but that's not your problem. That's not your problem. If somebody doesn't meet your standard, sayonara, bitches. That's not your problem. Okay, I got very passionate about this episode, but I hope it made at least a little bit of sense. It did make sense in my notes where I wrote it down, but I can imagine that speaking into a mic and a video sounds a bit different than reading it from a script. And let me know any considerations that you might have, or anything that popped into your mind, or how do you practice getting what you want. I'm really curious to hear. I hope that this at least a little bit empowered you or encouraged you for the new week to come. And I wish you all the best. I hope you have an awesome week, amazing springtime, blooming and growing. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Oh, and the sun came out. So yeah, happy Monday, happy start of the week. And I will see you in the next episode of Artist Mindset. Bye!